You do not usually quit when the goal is new. You quit when the work becomes ordinary. If you are new to this channel, we talk about psychology, and today the topic we are going to cover is boredom is the entrance exam for discipline. The first workout feels exciting, the new notebook feels clean, the business idea feels alive, the book, the course, the diet, the saving plan, the skill you are finally going to master, all of it feels possible at the beginning. Then the reward slows down. The workout becomes another set of reps. The textbook becomes another page. The writing becomes another blank document. Saving money becomes another moment of not buying the thing that would feel good right now. Nothing dramatic happened, you just got bored, and that is where most people misread the signal. They call it laziness, they call it lack of discipline, they call it proof that the task is not for them. They decide they need more motivation. Maybe, but often, boredom is not proof that goal is wrong. It is the entrance exam. Boredom is more specific than people think. Researchers have described it as uncomfortable experience of wanting to engage in satisfying activity but being unable to do so. Another model, the Mac model, argues that boredom often appears when attention cannot connect properly with the activity, or when the activity does not feel meaningfully tied to what matters to you. That matters because boredom is not always a sign that you should leave. Sometimes it is a sign that something in the task needs diagnosing. Maybe the task is too easy, so your attention has nothing to grip. Maybe it is too hard, so your mind cannot find a clear next step. So the meaning has gone missing, so the work feels detached from the reason you started. Maybe your environment has trained you expect stimulation every few seconds. So anything slow now feels like a problem. Boredom is not one thing. It is a signal that engagement has failed. The mistake is obeying the signal before understanding it. Here is what usually happens. You open a textbook, 3 minutes later, the page feels flat. Your hand reaches for the phone, you tell yourself you are just checking one thing. The check gives relief. That relief teaches your brain something. Boredom means leave. The loop is simple. Boredom appears, you shift attention, distraction gives relief. Relief reinforces escape. Now, the next time boredom appears, the urge arrives faster. You are not just losing one study session, you are training a response. The same thing happened with writing. You hit a difficult paragraph and open another tab. With lifting, progress slows and you start skipping sessions. With money, saving feel dull, spending gives immediate emotional feedback, and the old pattern comes back. Every escape feels small, that is why it is dangerous. A small escape become the way your nervous system learns to handle unstimulating work. And nearly everything valuable has an unstimulating phase. Discipline does not begin when you feel motivated. That part is easy. Discipline begins when stimulation ends but meaning remains. You still care about body, but today's workout feels repetitive. You still care about the skill, but today's practice feels awkward. You still care about the business, but today's task is another boring follow up. You still care about the money goal, but today's win is simply not spending. That is the moment, not the dramatic moment where life tested your character, the boring one, the one where nothing feels urgent and nobody is watching. If you escape every time movement arrives, you train avoidance. If you stay long enough to re engage, you train discipline. Not by supporting boredom, by choosing the next response. When boredom hits, attention wants move. That is the whole point. Boredom pushes you find a better state. Research on function of boredom suggests that it can motivate people to seek alternative goals or experiences when the current situation is not engaging. The question is where your attention goes. It can move outward, phone taps, messages, snacks, email, cleaning, planning, anything that gives quick relief. It can move inward, rumination, self attack, doubt, the story that you are lazy, behind, broken, or not built for this. Or it can return to the task differently. You can clarify the next step, add a timer, change the environment, reconnect the task to the goal, make the work slightly harder if it is too easy or smaller if it is too hard. That third option is discipline, not forcing yourself forever, re engaging intelligently. Some boredom is telling the truth. Do not turn this into a religion of suffering. Some tasks are genuinely pointless. Some boredom is fatigue. Some boredom is burnout. Some boredom means the task need redesign, not more grit. If your work has no meaning, no feedback, no challenge, no recovery, and no connection to any value you actually care about, simply enduring it may not make you disciplined. It may just make you numb. So the question is not how do I tolerate all boredom? That is bad question. The better question is what kind of boredom is this? If the task still matters but the movement feels flat, stay. If the task is too vague, define it. If the task is too easy, raise the challenge. If the task is too hard, shrink the next step. If you are genuinely depleted, recover. If the work is meaningless, reconsider the goal. The disciplined person does not worship boredom, they diagnose it before obeying it. A lot of people lose discipline because the task becomes separated from the reason. At the start, the reason is obvious. You are not just running, you are becoming healthier. You are not just writing, you are building a voice. You are not just saving, you are buying freedom from financial panic. You are not just practicing, you are becoming capable. Then repetition strips the emotion away. The action remains, but the meaning disappears. That is when boredom gets stronger. The back model is useful here because it points to attention and meaning as two major components of boredom. If the task cannot hold your attention or if it does not feel connected to valued goal, boredom rises. So do not only ask how do I focus? Ask why does this rep matter? Not in a motivational poster way, in practical way. This set matters because it keeps the promise. This page matters because it builds comprehension. This sales call matters because it gives market feedback. This saved money matters because it protects the month. Meaning does not need to be feel huge, it needs to be available. Structure beats negotiation. Boredom becomes dangerous when every boring moment turns into a fresh decision. Should I keep going? Should I check my phone? Should I stop now? Should I do something else? Should I restart tomorrow? Every negotiation gives the escape reflex a chance to win. So remove some negotiation. Use a simple rule. If boredom appears, I stay for 5 more minutes before changing anything. That is an if then plan. If the urge to escape appears, then I mark it and continue for 5 minutes. Implementation intention research has found that these if then plan can help people translate intention into action by linking a specific situation with a specific response. This works because you decide before the emotional moment arrives. You are not asking your bored brain to invent discipline, you are giving it a script. Boredom appears, mark the urge, stay 5 more minutes, then decide. That small delay matters because it breaks the automatic link between boredom and escape. Make the task easier to re enter. Sometimes boredom wins because the task is badly designed. You sit down to study, that means nothing. Study what? For how long? What counts as done? What is the first step? A vague task gives boredom into power because your mind has to keep deciding what to do. Define the target before you start. Read 10 page and write 5 notes. Solve 20 problems, write 500 words. Edit one section, review one sales call and identify 3 improvements. Now the task has a boundary. Boredom may still appear, but it has less room to negotiate. The same applies to your environment. Phone away, unnecessary tab closed, water nearby, materials ready, timer set. You are not trying to create a perfect monk cell, you are making escape slightly harder than staying. A little bit of friction gives you better decision time to arrive. The rep is not the task, the rep is the return. People think the discipline rep is finishing the workout, writing the article, reading the chapter, or saving the money. Partly. But the deeper rep is returning where your attention leaves. You feel bored and come back. You feel restless and come back. You feel the urge to check something and come back. You feel the task go flat and come back. That is the actual training. The goal is not to become someone who never feels bored. The person does not exist. The goal is to become someone who does not automatically obey boredom. That is where habit matters. Repetition makes responses more automatic over time. If every boring movement leads to your phone, that response becomes easier. If every boring movement leads to one more focused minutes, that response also becomes easier. You are always training something. The question is what? The cost of failing the exam. If boredom always means escape, your life gets smaller in a very specific way. You can only pursue goals that keep entertaining you, that rules out most serious thing. A body is built through repeated ordinary sessions. A money is changed through repeated ordinary decisions. A craft is built through repeated ordinary practice. A business is built through repeated ordinary attempts. A relationship is strengthened through repeated ordinary presence. The most valuable part of life rarely offer constant stimulation. They ask you to stay when the emotional reward drops. If you cannot do that, you will keep starting over. New plan, new app, new look, new goal, new identity, same escape reflex. The problem was never the plan. The problem was what happened the first time the plan became boring. So, for the next 7 days, choose one important task that usually becomes boring, not 10 tasks. 1. Before you begin, define the target clearly. Set a timer for a period you can actually complete. Put the phone away, keep a piece of paper beside you. Every time the urge to escape appears, make one mark. Then stay 5 more minutes. If the task feels too vague, clarify the next step. If it feels too easy, add the little challenge. If it feels too hard, shrink the next action. If you are depleted, stop properly and recover without turning the break into a scrolling session. At the end, write one sentence. When boredom appeared, what response did I train? That is the question, not how do I eliminate boredom. You will not. Ask what you are teaching your brain to do when boredom arrives. Because discipline at the exact moment when stimulation ends but meaning remains. If you like this video, please let me know what next topic you want me to cover And until then, see you in the next video.